Here we go again. Survivor season 46. That is crazy, by the way. 46 seasons. It's still going. So here we go. Season 46. We're kicking it off. Brand new cast. Bear with me as I go through these first few weeks of Survivor 46. As I learn everybody's names, because I'm going to not know some names. Going to forget some names. Is what it is. I'll start to learn my favorites, hopefully. And learn my least favorites, most likely. So, going into the season, we got 3 tribes. We got the Nami tribe, that is the orange tribe. The Siga tribe, that is the green tribe. And the Yanu tribe, that is the purple tribe. So those are our 3 tribes. And we kick off, like we normally do these days with Survivor, we kick off with a challenge. With our 3 tribes, they kick off with their first challenge. They have to build like a set of stairs or steps in a puzzle form. And then they have to get a key and get their key off of like a big thing. And they have to like fling it off. And then they basically win the challenge. So the 2 tribes that end up winning the first challenge of the whole game are Nami and Siga, which is the orange and green tribe. So they both win, and the purple tribe, Yanu, has lost the first challenge. But with Nami being the first winner of that first challenge, 2 of the other tribes still have to go ahead and do the Savvy and Sweat challenge. So they're still doing that, and this time around it was quite a rough go. Siga, who did win the challenge but they didn't win first place, they choose to do a Savvy challenge. And Yanu ends up choosing to do the Sweat challenge. Now, this is obviously something we do right at the beginning of each season, really. And this time around, neither of the tribes were able to get their Sweat and Savvy challenge completed, so they were literally unable to get their their flint and stuff for the beginning of the season. The Sweat challenge that Yanu had to do with a particular player, it is kind of frustrating to see. So hardly into the season, we already have a player who is our quitter, I guess you could say, in the season. Not as bad as last season where we kicked it off with some people literally leaving the game. But Jelinsky here, this guy is part of the Sweat challenge on the Yanu tribe, and he decides that he is unable to bring the water from the beach. He's unable to bring the water to his barrel thing with his teammate. So obviously we have the sand timer there counting down the hours that they have left, and they have plenty of time left on their challenge to get the water over to their barrels. Now, it is going to be a very hard challenge. It's obviously called the Sweat challenge. You need to work very hard to get the water into the barrels to succeed and get your materials for your tribe. Well, this fella right here, Jelinsky, he decides that it's too hard. Yeah, it is. It is really hard. And you may fail really badly, but that's kind of what the game of Survivor is. And he decides that he's just going to give up. He's just going to give up on the challenge. And not even gonna, keep the challenge going and let his other teammate that he's with, I believe Q, continue the challenge with him. He's just like, no, I'm gonna give up. We're done. We're giving up. We're not gonna go forward with it anymore. And I'm just gonna go tell my tribe that it's too hard. I gave up, and we're not gonna get it done. So, not only that, but he also takes the actual sand thing and throws it against the beach and breaks it. So, I don't know what the hell that's about. But we are kicking off the season with our first very low effort player. And I don't know where Survivor gets these people, but it's kind of annoying. But it's not as bad as it was at the beginning of last season. So I guess if you're going to compare it to something like that, we're a little better off. We just got someone who doesn't really give that much effort. But he doesn't at least walk off and quit the game. So as everyone's getting used to their new camps and getting to know everybody, they eventually do cut off to do a journey. And they do this every season now, but it's always a little different. And this time around, I think it was really stupid. But they had to choose one from each tribe. So Jelinsky from Yanu ended up going. Tevin from Nami did go, and then they chose Maria from the Siga tribe to go. So those are the 3 people who are going to go on this journey, and it ends up coming down to Maria. They have like 3 cards, and she has the torch card, and she has to figure out which one of the other 2 people there has the one that is like a vote card, and it's basically her coming down to like reading both of their faces and deciding who's lying and who's not. And it's super weird, super strange, and it's really lame, actually. I'd rather them just do the old one that they've been doing before, because this one's kind of silly to me. But that's what the challenge is here, and she has to read and choose who has the vote card. And I believe if she chooses right, her and, like, let's just say it right now, Tevin is the one who ends up having the vote card. So it's her and Tevin that end up getting an extra vote. And then Jelinsky does not get any vote at all. He loses his vote for the next tribal that he's at. The thing with Jelinsky is he was both lying with Tevin. Tevin and him were both lying. And eventually he just gives up. He just gives up and says, all right, you know what? I don't have the vote card. Obviously, I'm not going to lie anymore. And I don't have the vote card. I'm not a good liar. Wah, wah, wah. And it's just, what are you doing? Give it a try. Give it a shot. You tried and then you just stopped. Just like he did with the sweat challenge. So I don't know what's up with this guy, but he's a quitter who's not quitting the game, but he's quitting inside the game. That's kind of how it is this time around, and it's kind of annoying to see. At least he's not walking off the game. But that is a very low bar, and we shouldn't have had that happen last season. But yeah, he's not giving it his all, and it's quite clear. And when he goes back to his tribe, it's quite clear as well. They're like, what the hell are you doing? You just gave them 2 extra votes by basically giving up. You literally gave an extra vote to each of the other players from the other tribes. How does that benefit us in any way? And it's like, he's just like, oh, well, it might come back to benefit us in some way, maybe with some friends and stuff. No, how does that benefit you right now? And it just doesn't. So he's not making good with his tribe at the beginning at all. Right away, in the beginning of the season, we have our clear contender for weakest player. So right before the actual first immunity challenge, we do get to see someone actually finding a clue to a hidden immunity idol already. And I do miss the days of them just finding an idol and having an idol, but those days are kind of over at this point. So Tiffany on Yanu tribe, she ends up finding a clue that she is going to be able to get a key to unlock her idol in a hidden spot if her tribe loses the immunity challenge. So in a way, she's almost rooting for her team to lose, which is kind of a weird scenario. But, you know, if her team loses, she is able to go and get a clue to where that box is that she can unlock with the key and get her idol. So the actual challenge was kind of strange. It was kind of funny to see. It was like big geckos that were filled with sand, and each tribe had to drag it across the course. Then they'd go up and do a puzzle, and the 2 tribes that won the immunity challenge was the exact same way as the first challenge went. So Nami and Siga win immunity. They are safe. They are not going to tribal tonight, and Yanu is the one going to tribal council tonight. So immediately it becomes very clear to me that Jelinsky is the one who needs to get voted out. This guy needs to go. He's been showing already that he is just kind of willing to just give up in the game, and they should very much get him out. Now, some other people are looking at Jess because she was also involved in the loss, kind of. At the end of the challenge, she was doing the puzzle, and she just didn't really manage to get the puzzle done. But really, I think it was Jelinsky again, because he was also doing the puzzle. So it came down to Jelinsky and Jess doing the puzzle at the end, and they just couldn't do it. So they came up short, they lost the challenge, and they are the tribe going to tribal council tonight. Because they actually lost, there is one benefit for one person on this tribe, and that is Tiffany. She is able to actually go and get her idol. She's able to get the clue, the key, and whatever, and she's able to go get her idol hidden on the beach, and she does go find it before tribal. She doesn't need it, but she did go get that, so now she has the first idol of the game. Kind of cool to see some idols out there now. But going to tribal council, it's a very clear vote for me. Like, I know exactly who they should vote out. Like, it's very clear. It should be super, super clear. It does come down to the conversation is between Jess and Jelinsky. Jess, because mainly, like, she's not interacting with her tribe as well, and her performance on the actual challenge, I don't think it was that bad, really. They're all getting situated still. I don't think she really performed terribly in any way. She was just kind of involved with the final bit of the challenge. But with Jelinsky, he has failed on multiple fronts, and Q makes very clear point of that at tribal council. I'm so glad he stepped up and said that, because he needed to. It was very clear, and it needed to be said. And Jelinsky is the one easily voted out of this first tribal council. I could not have thought of a better person for the first vote out of the season. We can completely forget about this guy next week, because he's not part of the jury, and nobody will be until we merge. But this guy it just didn't seem like he really wanted to be there. Or, I don't know. He wanted to be there more than some of the people last season. I guess I could say that, but that's not saying much. And it just seemed like a very easy vote out this week. So, I don't really have a favorite yet going into the season. Like, there was some few funny little bits and pieces every now and then, but I don't really have a favorite player yet. Very quickly found a player I didn't want to see go forward, and that was this guy. But generally, like, we're still very early on. We had a 2-hour premiere though, but we'll get situated. We already know some of the players pretty well, and I'm sure we're gonna get to know them a lot better. But I think it was a fine premiere for a season of Survivor. And I just looking forward to see what they do. I hope it's a little more exciting. The last few seasons have had their moments, but it's like I just want something insane. I want an explosive, fun season, and I want to come into these episode reviews and stuff just losing my mind. I really, really want to. So I hope they have some good stuff coming up. They got the right person out this week, and I'm glad they did. And we will see. We will see what happens. But right now, it's a pretty basic, standard Survivor premiere. Not much else to say. Got the right guy out. And we have our team that has so far become the losing team. Will they change that next week? Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, it was a pretty good premiere.